During that time, Shane Beamer is doing one-on-ones with all of the local TV stations here in South Carolina. So it's the Columbia stations, including us at Watch Fox, but also, some of the Charleston stations, Greenville stations come down, and he takes time to talk to all of us one-on-one, which is really, really great. And we have 5 minutes with Beamer. It's a strict time. You got 5 minutes to get your questions in. So for me, I've got about 7 or 8 questions planned, and you got to have the priorities because you got someone behind Beamer giving you the cue of 2 minute, 1 minute, wrap it up. And, we respect that time, and we really, really appreciate him taking the time to do that. It really adds a lot to our newscast and our sports shows and all of that. And then after Beamer is done with the one-on-ones, he gets to go home, drink some water because it's a lot of talking with all of us and answering a lot of questions. And then every single player is made available to us for, 20, 30 minutes?
About half an hour.
About half an hour each, which is great. So every single offensive player, every single defensive player, and every single special teams player. So it's a fun day and it's a lot. But before we talk about what you learned from the players, let's let everyone hear that one-on-one with Shane Beamer. And this one-on-one with Beamer was shot for broadcast. So if you watched Watch Fox last week, you got to see this interview. I'm dressed very formally. I'm in my suit and my tie. And so this was shot for that broadcast, but we are going to let you guys hear it if you're listening to us on our audio platforms. If you're watching us on YouTube, here is my one-on-one with Shane Beamer the day before camp got underway. Shane, I've covered a lot of Gamecock football seasons, and the excitement and the hype for this one feels different to me, looking in from the outside in. You're on the inside. Does it feel different to you?
It does. It's because of the expectations our guys have. There's no question about it. They excited about what we did in 24, but there's a great hunger to take things even farther in 25, and they've had that mentality since we came back in January. So there's absolutely great excitement inside our building, and I feel the same thing outside the building as well. The number of people that have come up to me throughout the state, region, this summer, leading into the season, it's pretty evident how much excitement there is about Gamecock football.
And it's a fun place to be, I think, going into a new season. And I was talking to Clayton about this on Monday, especially in regards to Lenoris and Dylan Stewart in his case, the concept of the next season. When you're a freshman and you're new and you put on this great season and everyone's like, wow, you're amazing. Yeah. And then the next season comes around and everyone's looking at you like, okay, do it again and do it better and do it with all of us watching now. How do you get your players ready for all of that pressure that they now have to deal with as the guys of the team?
Yeah, it's just kind of the next step. You want guys that want to embrace that, and at the end of the day, you want their the expectations in our building and within themselves to be higher than what anybody has on the outside. But, certainly we've got a bunch of really good players, and everyone's roles in 2025 are different than what they were in 24. It might be a guy, he's now a senior. He's in a leadership role. He was a red shirt last year. Now he's going to play a lot, whatever it might be. And we want everybody to embrace those roles and embrace those expectations.
As we get ready for a new season, Lenoris and Dylan are the ones that everybody's talking about, but are there any new or newer faces that you're excited for everyone to see this season?
Yeah, a lot, and I'm not trying to dodge the question, but there really are, and we talked about that this morning and as a staff in our staff meeting, just that we lost a lot off the 24 team, and I said this in a staff meeting this morning. I'm really excited for you guys and people that follow Gamecock football to kind of see some of these other guys that we've been seeing since January. But it's a talented group of guys that are ready to take the next step, and we've recruited well, we've developed well, we've brought in some really good players that transferred in, and those guys have a great way about them, and looking forward to working with them this year.
When the countdown is on to game one and these first few days of practice, what tone do you want set in these first few days?
Really just the mentality of how we want to play in practice, the physicality that we want to play with, the effort that we want to play with. It's the schemes will come. It's day 1, day 2, day 3. We know there'll be mistakes that are made, but some of the non-negotiables are just the effort that we play with and the physicality and the toughness. And that's what we'll talk about in the team meeting the night before the first practice, is just examples of how we play around here and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And, you get that foundation kind of laid in the initial days, everything else will come.
Now that you've been with South Carolina for a while, what do you know now about coaching, especially this program that maybe you didn't know your first year?
Great question. I really feel like I had a pretty good understanding of what it was going to be like. I'd probably just say, even growing up the son of a head coach, probably didn't understand the amount of things that come across your desk that have nothing to do with coaching, that as the head coach come on your desk. And then just being, having an understanding of, when you're the head football coach, how many people really truly are looking to you for leadership and direction. You know that, obviously, but when you really think about it, all the coaches, staff, players, people that work in our football facility, and they're all looking to you, it's a big responsibility, and that's something that has really, the magnitude of that has really grown for sure, and helped me understand that and whatnot. But that'd probably be the biggest thing, is a number of things that have nothing to do with, actually. That's why I love practice so much. I could actually just coach football, because when throughout the day and throughout the year, there's so much other stuff that comes across your desk.
Well, Shane, we're really, really excited for the new season. I know you're excited too, and the countdown's on, man.
Yep, can't wait. Thank you, guys.
Great talking with Shane Beamer. He does a good job too of getting to know us, and making sure he knows all the media members' names. It's a very personable, and I think a very positive relationship between Beamer and the media, which you don't always get, just
I don't see
in general.
coaches do that often.
Yeah,
being able to rattle off media names like that. It's very impressive for me to watch Shane do that.
Yeah, it's cool, and it makes us all, feel part of the journey. And there's a lot of respect there between the coaching staff, the Gamecocks, and us. And so it's cool. It's a two-way street, and we try and make sure that it's done very well and done very professionally. But thank you again to Gamecock Athletics and Shane Beamer for doing those one-on-ones, because he doesn't have to.